The morning sun rose over New Busan Colony, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold. Park Dae-ho stood on his office balcony, watching farmers tend to the vast rice fields that stretched toward the horizon. The sight never failed to fill him with pride. 15 years ago, this planet had been nothing but empty grasslands and scattered forests. Now it was home to 150,000 people who had built something beautiful. Kim Yuna walked through the agricultural domes, checking the growth sensors on the wheat crops. Her two children, Boram and Minsu, followed behind her, asking endless questions about photosynthesis and soil nutrients. She smiled as she answered them. This was why they had left Earth, so their children could grow up with clean air, open spaces, and a future full of possibilities. The colony had everything they needed. Clean water flowed from mountain springs through carefully designed channels. Solar panels and fusion reactors provided endless power. The air was sweet and fresh, untouched by the pollution that still plagued some parts of Earth. People lived in comfortable homes surrounded by gardens where they grew vegetables and flowers. Lee Tae-min reviewed the daily security reports in his small office near the spaceport. 6 patrol ships protected the system, which was more than enough for a peaceful farming colony. In 15 years, the most serious incident had been a cargo ship with navigation problems. The Kepler 442b system was far from any major trade routes or military zones. It was exactly the kind of quiet place where families could build new lives. Choi Hana sat at her communications desk, processing the daily messages between New Busan and other human colonies. Today she was preparing the quarterly report for Earth's Colonial Command. Population growth was steady, crop yields were up 12% from last year, and the new mining operation in the asteroid belt was producing valuable minerals. Everything was going perfectly. In the asteroid belt, Bae Jun-sik supervised the mining robots as they extracted rare metals from floating rocks. The work was dangerous but profitable. These materials would help build new colonies and improve life for humans across the galaxy. He felt good knowing his work mattered for something bigger than himself. The colonists had built more than just homes and farms. They had created a community. Every evening, families gathered in the central plaza to share meals and stories. Children played games while adults discussed plans for expanding the agricultural zones. Teachers ran schools where young people learned about Earth's history and their own bright future among the stars. Park Dae-ho often thought about his decision to leave his military career and become a farmer. On Earth, he had commanded warships and fought in small conflicts along the frontier. But here on New Busan, he had found something better than victory in battle. He had found peace. The colonists trusted him to make good decisions, and he worked hard to deserve that trust. The colony's success came from careful planning and hard work. Every family contributed something valuable. Engineers maintained the fusion reactors and water systems. Doctors kept everyone healthy. Artists created beautiful paintings and sculptures that decorated public buildings. Even the children had jobs, helping with small farming tasks and learning skills they would need as adults. Kim Yuna's agricultural research had produced amazing results. The crops she developed could grow faster and produce more food than anything on Earth. Her methods could feed billions of people if other colonies adopted them. She had already shared her data with researchers on 12 other worlds who were having similar success. Communication with Earth took 6 days because of the distance. Messages traveled through quantum relay stations that human engineers had built along the major space routes. The colonists sent regular reports about their progress and received news about events in the wider galaxy. Most of the news was boring: trade agreements, scientific discoveries, and diplomatic meetings between human colonies and alien governments. The aliens they knew about seemed friendly enough. The Hegemony Coalition controlled this part of the galaxy, but they rarely bothered with human settlements. They had their own planets and didn't seem interested in what humans were doing on remote farming worlds. Occasionally, alien ships passed through human space on their way to somewhere else, but they never stopped to visit. Lee Tae-min had served in Earth's military for 20 years before retiring to New Busan. He knew how to read sensor data and organize defensive patrols. but he never expected to need those skills here. The biggest threat to the colony was bad weather or equipment failures, not enemy attacks. His 6 patrol ships were enough to handle pirates or accidents, nothing more. The bar. Colonists lived simple but comfortable lives. They worked hard during planting and harvest seasons, then relaxed during the quieter months. People formed close friendships and started families. The birth rate was higher than on most human worlds because parents felt confident about their children's future. Park Dae-ho finished reading the quarterly report that Choi Hana had prepared. The numbers told a story of success and growth. New Busan was exactly what Earth's colonial program was supposed to achieve, a thriving human settlement that improved life for everyone involved. He approved the report and authorized its transmission to Earth. As the day ended, families gathered for the evening meal in the central plaza. The smell of grilled meat and fresh vegetables filled the air. Children ran between the tables, playing tag and laughing. Adults discussed plans for next year's crops and debated whether to build more housing in the Northern Valley. Kim Yuna tucked her children into bed, reading them stories about brave explorers who discovered new worlds. Bo-ram wanted to be a pilot when she grew up, while Min-soo dreamed of becoming a scientist like his mother. She kissed their foreheads and promised them that tomorrow would bring new adventures. Late that night, Choi Hana sent the quarterly report to Earth. The message would take 6 days to reach Colonial Command, where bureaucrats would file it with thousands of similar reports from colonies across human space. She had no way of knowing that enemy sensors had intercepted the transmission and analyzed its contents. Park Dae-ho stood on his balcony one last time before going to bed. The stars were bright and clear in the unpolluted sky. He could see Earth's sun as a tiny point of light impossibly far away. New Busan felt like the safest place in the galaxy. The colonists had built something wonderful here, something worth protecting. Tomorrow would bring another peaceful day of farming and family life. The colonists would wake up, tend their crops, teach their children, and plan for the future. They had no idea that a massive alien fleet was already traveling toward their system, carrying death and destruction to their peaceful world. The first warning came at dawn. Lee Taemin was drinking coffee in his office when the long-range sensors detected multiple contacts approaching the system. At first, he thought it might be a trading convoy that had gotten lost, but as the ships got closer, his instruments showed something impossible: 200 massive warships moving in perfect military formation. Lee Taemin activated the colony's emergency broadcast system. His voice echoed through every building in New Busan. All civilians report to emergency shelters immediately. This is not a drill. Unknown military vessels are approaching the planet. Kim Yuna grabbed her children and ran toward the nearest shelter. Bo-ram was crying, frightened by the alarm sirens. Min-soo held his mother's hand tightly as they joined hundreds of other families hurrying through the streets. The underground shelters had been built years ago as protection against storms, but now they would face something much worse. Park Dae-ho reached the command center as Lee Tae-min launched all 6 patrol ships to meet the incoming fleet. The small human vessels looked like insects compared to the alien warships. Each enemy ship was at least 20 times larger than anything New Busan could field. The patrol ships spread out in defensive formation, their weapons powered and ready. "Try to make contact," Park Dae-ho ordered. "Ask them what they want." Choi Hana sent message after message on every frequency, speaking in English, Korean, and the standard galactic trade language. "Unknown vessels, this is New Busan Colony. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. We are a peaceful settlement with no military value." The aliens did not respond. Their ships continued moving toward the planet in silence. The enemy fleet consisted of vessels from 4 different alien species. The largest ships belonged to the Vrex Empire, massive gray battleships bristling with weapons. The Keth Sovereignty contributed sleek vessels that seemed to be made of living crystal. Nalar Federation ships looked like giant metal birds with swept-back wings. The Torvan Assembly flew blue-green cruisers that moved through space like swimming fish. On the flagship of the alien fleet, Commander Sekthor watched the approaching human patrol ships with cold satisfaction. The reptilian warrior had studied human colonies for months, learning their weaknesses. Humans were soft, he believed. They cared too much about their families and not enough about military strength. Today would prove his theory correct. All ships open fire, Sekthor commanded. Show these mammals what happens when inferior species spread too far. The alien fleet fired as one. Thousands of energy beams and missiles struck the 6 human patrol ships. Lee Taemin's vessels fought bravely, but they were vastly outgunned. Within 5 minutes, all 6 ships were destroyed. The space around New Busan filled with debris and expanding clouds of gas. They're not responding to communications, Choi Hana reported, her voice shaking. The patrol fleet is gone. They're targeting the planet. The first orbital bombardment began 30 minutes later. Energy beams from the alien ship struck the power plant, turning it into a crater of molten metal. The communication center exploded in a ball of fire. Agricultural domes shattered as missiles rained down from space. The beautiful fields that had taken years to grow were burned to ash in seconds. Kim Yuna huddled with her children in the underground shelter as explosions shook the ground above them. Emergency lighting flickered on and off. Other families pressed together in the dark, holding each other and praying for survival. The sound of destruction echoed through the tunnels. Buildings collapsing, fires spreading, people screaming. Bai Jun-sik was in the asteroid belt when the attack began. He watched in horror as the alien fleet surrounded the planet and began systematic bombardment. His mining ships were too far away to help, but he knew he had to try something. Loading his cargo hauler with mining explosives, he set course for the nearest enemy vessel. The alien landing began 2 hours after the bombardment started. Thousands of dropships descended from the orbiting fleet, carrying soldiers from all 4 species. They spread across the planet's surface, hunting for survivors and destroying anything still intact. The aliens showed no mercy to civilians, killing anyone they found. Park Dae-ho organized the evacuation from the colony's emergency bunker. Most of the transport ships had been destroyed in the first attack, but a few cargo haulers and shuttles remained hidden in underground hangars. He made the hardest decision of his life. They would have to leave most people behind and save whoever they could. Kim Yuna knew she might not survive, but she could still save children. When alien soldiers broke into her shelter, she triggered the emergency seal on the deepest tunnel. 200 children were trapped safely behind blast doors while the aliens captured or killed the adults. Her sacrifice bought precious time for others to escape. Choi Hana stayed at her post even as enemy fire destroyed the building around her. Her last transmission reached Earth's quantum relay just before the communication center collapsed. New Busan under attack. Massive alien fleet. 150,000 civilians. They're killing everyone. Remember us. The signal cut to static. Bai Jun-sik crashed his explosive-filled cargo ship into an alien cruiser, destroying both vessels in a massive explosion. The blast cleared a path for evacuation shuttles to reach orbit. His death saved 300 lives, including Park Dae-ho's group of survivors. The evacuation ships launched under heavy fire. Most were destroyed before reaching space, but 12 vessels managed to escape into the asteroid belt. They carried only 12,000 survivors out of 150,000 colonists. Children cried for parents they would never see again. Adults stared in shock at the burning world they had called home. Park Dae-ho's shuttle was the last to leave the atmosphere. Through the porthole, he watched alien ships systematically destroying every trace of human civilization. The orbital bombardment continued, for hours turning the once green world into a smoking wasteland. Rivers boiled away. Forests became ash. Cities were melted into glass. Commander Sekthor observed the destruction with satisfaction. The human colony was completely eliminated. No buildings remained standing. No crops survived the fire. The lesson was clear. Humans who ventured too far from their homeworld would face the same fate. The galaxy belonged to stronger species. The surviving humans hid in the asteroid belt, watching their world die. Park Dae-ho recorded a final message for Earth, his voice heavy with grief and rage. This is Colonial Administrator Park Dae-ho of New Busan. We are under attack by a massive alien fleet. They came without warning and showed no mercy. 138,000 civilians are dead. They killed our children. They burned our crops. They destroyed everything we built. He paused, staring at the image of his ruined world on the screen. We don't know why they attacked us. We never threatened anyone. We just wanted to grow food and raise our families in peace. But they wouldn't let us live. His voice grew stronger. Tell Earth what happened here. Tell them about our children. Tell them... He looked directly into the camera. Remember New Busan. The alien fleet began departing the system, their mission complete. They left behind only death and ashes where a thriving colony had existed just hours before. The beautiful world that 150,000 humans had called home was now a lifeless rock orbiting a distant star. In the cold darkness of space, the survivors huddled in their damaged ships. They had food for maybe a week and no way to repair their vessels. But they had something more important than supplies. They had the truth about what happened to New Busan. Someone had to carry that truth back to Earth, no matter the cost. The message from New Busan reached Earth 6 days later. President Kang Seo-jun was reviewing trade agreements in his Geneva office when Admiral Yoon Mi-rae burst through the door, her face pale with shock. She carried a datapad containing the most important transmission in human history. Sir, you need to see this immediately, Admiral Yoon said, her voice tight with controlled anger. It's from New Busan Colony. Kang Seo-jun activated his holographic display and watched Park Dae-ho's final message. The colonial administrator's words hit him like physical blows. 138,000 dead. Children murdered. A thriving world turned to ash. An unprovoked attack by alien forces who showed no mercy to civilians. Within an hour, every member of Earth's Colonial Defense Council was seated in the emergency briefing room. General Nam Ho-jin studied tactical reports while Dr. Song Ji-woo analyzed the sensor data from the destroyed patrol ships. Captain Han Soo-jin sat in stunned silence. Park Dae-ho was her father, and now he was probably dead or stranded in space. Show me everything, President Kang ordered. The holographic display filled with images from New Busan's final hours. Choi. Hana's desperate communications. Burning agricultural domes. Children running toward shelters that would become their tombs. The systematic orbital bombardment that erased 15 years of human achievement in a single day. Admiral Yoon Mi-rae presented the military situation. The attackers called themselves the Hegemony Coalition. 4 alien species working together, the Vrex Empire, Keth Sovereignty, Nalar Federation, and Torvan Assembly. Intelligence estimates they control roughly 300 star systems in this galactic sector. What's our current military strength? Kang asked. 2,000 ships spread across 47 colonies, General Nam replied. Most are patrol vessels and cargo escorts. We have maybe 300 true warships. Against a fleet of 200 alien cruisers, we'd be outnumbered and outgunned. The room fell silent as the terrible math became clear. Humanity's peaceful expansion had left them vulnerable to exactly this kind of attack. For 40 years, humans had focused on farming, mining, and building new settlements. They had forgotten that the galaxy was full of species who might not want them to succeed. President Kang stood and walked to the window, looking out at the city of Geneva. Millions of people went about their daily lives, unaware that their entire species had just been marked for extinction. The aliens had sent a message by destroying New Busan. Humans who spread too far would die. Mr. President, Dr. Song said quietly, we have options. My research division has been working on advanced warship designs, mass production techniques that could build vessels faster than ever before. If we converted our entire industrial base to military production... How long? Kang asked. 18 months to build a fleet capable of responding to this threat. But it would require total commitment. Every factory, every shipyard, every resource humanity possesses. Captain Han Soo-jin spoke for the first time. Sir, permission to lead a rescue mission to New Busan. There might be survivors. Denied, Admiral Yoon said gently. The risk is too great. We can't lose more ships before we know what we're facing. The debate continued for hours. Some council members argued for negotiation with the aliens. Others suggested hiding Earth's location and abandoning the outer colonies. A few recommended immediate military action with their existing fleet. President Kang listened to every opinion, but his mind was already made up. He had seen the images of dead children in New Busan's ruins. He had heard Park Dae-ho's voice asking Earth to remember them. There was only one response that honored their sacrifice. Dr. Song, I want detailed plans for total military conversion within 24 hours. Admiral Yoon, prepare mobilization orders for every shipyard and factory in human space. General Nam, begin recruitment campaigns immediately. Kang's voice was calm but filled with iron resolve. We're going to build the largest fleet in galactic history. The news broke across Earth's communication networks within hours. Images from New Busan spread to every continent, every city, every household. Children who would never grow up. Farmers murdered in their fields. A peaceful colony erased from existence by alien warships. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Protests filled the streets of major cities, but these were not protests against war. They were rallies demanding action. Veterans of Earth's old conflicts came forward offering their experience. Young people lined up at recruiting stations. Factory workers volunteered for extended shifts. Dr. Song presented her military conversion plan to the full council. We'll build standardized Dreadnought-class vessels using modular construction techniques. Each ship will be 2 kilometers long and armed with plasma lances, quantum torpedoes, and railgun arrays. Mass production will let us build 500,000 vessels in 18 months. 500,000? General Nam looked stunned. That's more ships than every military in galactic history combined. The aliens want to teach us about superior firepower, Dr. Song said grimly. We'll give them a lesson they'll never forget. Earth's industrial might awakened like a sleeping giant. Asteroid mining operations expanded across the solar system. Shipyards appeared in orbit around every major planet. Advanced artificial intelligence systems designed new production techniques that could build warships faster than anyone thought possible. The colonial worlds contributed everything they could spare. Mining colonies sent rare metals. Agricultural worlds provided food for the massive workforce. Research stations shared their most advanced technologies. Humanity united with a single purpose, making the aliens pay for what they had done to New Busan. Captain Han Soo-jin threw herself into training special operations forces. If Earth's fleet reached hegemony space, someone would need to board enemy ships and capture their leaders alive. She wanted to look into the eyes of whoever ordered her father's death. Admiral Yoon Mi-rae worked 18-hour days designing the fleet's command structure. 500,000 ships required unprecedented organization and logistics. She divided the force into 5 fleets of 100,000 vessels each, with specialized roles and tactical doctrines. Messages arrived from other human colonies, reporting increased alien patrols and hostile behavior. The Hegemony Coalition was watching humanity's response, probably expecting fear and submission. Instead, they saw factories working around the clock and young humans enlisting by the millions. President Kang addressed the world 6 months after New Busan's destruction. Behind him stood a holographic display showing the construction of humanity's revenge fleet. Thousands of massive dreadnoughts floated in orbital shipyards, their weapons systems being installed and tested. The aliens who destroyed New Busan wanted to send us a message, Kang said, his voice carrying to every corner of human space. They wanted us to know our place in their galaxy. They wanted us to fear them and retreat to Earth like frightened children. He paused, letting his words sink in. We have a message in return. We are building 500,000 warships. We will find every alien base, every military installation, every fleet that supports the Hegemony Coalition. We will destroy them all. The president's image was replaced by footage of the Dreadnought fleet under construction. Ship after ship rolled out of automated assembly lines. Weapons capable of cracking moons were mounted on armored hulls. Engines that could push 2-kilometer vessels faster than light were installed and tested. To the aliens who think they can murder our children without consequences, you are wrong. We are coming for you. We will not negotiate. We will not surrender. We will have justice for every human who died on New Busan. The broadcast ended with a simple image, the memorial wall being built on Earth, displaying the names and photographs of all 138,000 New Busan victims. Children who would never grow up, parents who would never see another sunrise, farmers and teachers and engineers who had only wanted to build something beautiful among the stars. 18 months after the New Busan massacre, humanity's revenge fleet assembled in Earth orbit. 500,000 dreadnoughts darkened the space around the home world like a metal storm cloud. Each ship carried enough firepower to sterilize a planet. Together, they represented the largest military force ever created. Admiral Yoon Mi-rae stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the endless rows of warships stretching toward the horizon of space. Beside her, Captain Han Soo-jin checked her special operations equipment one final time. In the communications center, the same quantum transmitters that had once carried peaceful messages now coordinated humanity's march to war. President Kang gave the final order from Earth's surface. Operation Righteous Fury is authorized. Admiral, Yoon, take our children's revenge to the stars. Show the galaxy what happens when they touch what is ours. The transformation of humanity was complete. In 18 months, a peaceful species of farmers and explorers had become something else entirely. A war machine of unprecedented scale and efficiency. Earth's orbital shipyards stretched from Mercury to Jupiter, churning out dreadnoughts at a rate that made alien intelligence analysts question their own sensors. Dr. Song Ji-woo stood in the testing facility on Mars, watching the final trials of humanity's new weapons. The plasma lance battery fired a beam that could cut through 3 kilometers of solid steel. Quantum torpedoes warped space itself, creating explosions that violated several laws of physics. Railguns accelerated house-sized projectiles to near light speed, turning kinetic energy into planet-cracking force. The aliens wanted to show us superior firepower, Dr. Song told her engineering team. These weapons will make their cruisers look like children's toys. Each dreadnought was a mobile fortress designed for one purpose: destroying enemy fleets as efficiently as possible. Advanced shield systems could deflect most known weapons. Armor plating incorporated Earth's most advanced materials. Self-repairing nanotechnology could fix battle damage in real time. The ships were not beautiful, but they were absolutely deadly. Admiral Yoon Mi-rae reviewed the fleet organization from her command ship. The massive force was divided into 5 fleets, each containing 100,000 dreadnoughts. Every fleet had specialized roles and tactical doctrines developed through countless computer simulations and war games. The first Revenge Fleet would strike directly at hegemony command centers, led by Admiral Yoon herself. Her ships carried the most advanced sensors and communication systems, designed to coordinate the entire operation across multiple star systems simultaneously. Admiral Park Chan-woo commanded the Second Justice Fleet, focused on eliminating enemy shipyards and industrial facilities. His vessels were equipped with specialized weapons for destroying space stations and orbital manufacturing plants. No alien would build warships while his fleet controlled their systems. The Third Retribution Fleet answered to Admiral Kim Dong-hyun, a tactical genius who had studied every known battle in galactic history. His ships would engage the main hegemony battle fleets in direct combat, using superior numbers and firepower to overwhelm alien defenses. Admiral Lee So-young led the Fourth Vengeance Fleet, tasked with securing captured systems and protecting human supply lines. Her dreadnoughts carried additional troops and equipment for occupying enemy worlds after their fleets were destroyed. The Fifth Reckoning Fleet belonged to Admiral Jong Min-ho, the youngest fleet commander in human history. His ships were equipped with experimental weapons and technologies, ready to adapt to whatever surprises the aliens might reveal during battle. Captain Han Soo-jin prepared her special operations forces for the most dangerous mission of the war. While the fleets engaged enemy ships, her commandos would board alien flagships and capture their leaders alive. The humans who ordered New Busan's destruction would face trial for their crimes. The intelligence value of the New Busan survivors proved invaluable. Park Dae-ho and the other 12,000 refugees had spent months observing hegemony technology and tactics. Their reports gave humanity crucial advantages in planning the counterattack. The Vrex Empire relies on heavy armor and brute force, Park Dae-ho explained to Admiral Yoon during a strategy meeting. Their ships are slow but heavily armed. The Keth sovereignty uses energy shields and advanced sensors. Nalar vessels are fast but lightly armored. The Torvan favor stealth technology and surprise attacks. This intelligence allowed human engineers to design specific countermeasures for each alien species. Armor-piercing rounds for Vrex battleships, shield-disrupting frequencies for Keth cruisers, fast interceptors for Nalar raiders, advanced sensors to detect Torvan stealth ships. The human fleet possessed advantages beyond simple numbers. Unified command structure meant all 500,000 ships could coordinate their actions perfectly. Earth's industrial base could produce replacement vessels and ammunition faster than any alien civilization. Advanced artificial intelligence systems managed logistics and tactical planning with inhuman efficiency. Most importantly, humanity fought with cold, calculating rage, focused into military precision. The images of dead children from New Busan motivated every soldier, engineer, and commander. This was not conquest for territory or resources. This was justice for murdered innocents. Earth's transformation affected every aspect of human society. Children learned mathematics by calculating missile trajectories. Students studied alien languages to interrogate prisoners. Artists created propaganda posters showing human dreadnoughts bringing justice to the stars. The entire species had unified around a single goal. The economic mobilization was equally impressive. Civilian factories retooled to produce military equipment. Asteroid mining operations expanded to provide raw materials. Agricultural worlds grew food for the massive military workforce. Trade between colonies carried weapons and supplies instead of luxury goods. Advanced training facilities prepared millions of humans for space combat. Veterans of Earth's old conflicts shared their experience with new recruits. Computer simulations let crews practice battle tactics without risking real ships. Psychological conditioning helped soldiers deal with the stress of interstellar warfare. The aliens watched humanity's military buildup with growing concern. Their spies reported impossible numbers. 500,000 warships under construction, simultaneously. Hegemony leaders dismissed these reports as errors or propaganda, unable to believe that any species could mobilize on such a scale. Commander Sekthor received regular intelligence updates from his network of informants in human space. The reports painted a disturbing picture of industrial might and military determination that exceeded all previous estimates of human capability. Still, he remained confident in hegemony's superiority. Let them build their toys, Sekthor told his staff officers. Numbers mean nothing without experience and advanced technology. When they come to our space, they will learn why the hegemony coalition has ruled this sector for 800 years. The alien commander was about to discover that his 800 years of dominance had made him overconfident and unprepared for an enemy that could outproduce his entire civilization. Human intelligence operations mapped every hegemony military, base, supply depot, and fleet concentration. Spy satellites observed alien ship movements and communication patterns. Double agents provided detailed information about defensive positions and strategic plans. By the time humanity's revenge fleet was ready to deploy, they knew exactly where to strike for maximum effect. The final fleet assembly took place in Earth's solar system, the largest gathering of military force in galactic history. 500,000 dreadnoughts arranged themselves in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with fresh armor and newly installed weapons. Each ship carried a crew of 500 humans, all volunteers who had requested the honor of serving in the revenge fleet. President Kang toured the flagship with Admiral Yoon, inspecting the command centers and weapon systems that would carry humanity's answer to the stars. In the ship's memorial hall, holographic displays showed images of every new Busan victim, ensuring that the fleet's mission was never forgotten. They killed our children to send a message, President Kang said, as he stood before the memorial wall. Now we send our own message. 500,000 ships carrying the fury of Earth itself. The quantum communication systems that would coordinate the fleet's operations had been tested repeatedly. Commands from Admiral Yoon's flagship could reach every dreadnought across multiple star systems simultaneously. No human ship would fight, alone or without support. Final preparations included loading specialized ammunition designed to penetrate alien armor and shields. Emergency medical facilities were stocked with supplies for treating battle wounds. Repair equipment could fix damaged ships even in the middle of combat. Everything was ready for the largest military operation in human history. As the fleet prepared to depart Earth's solar system, messages of support arrived from every human colony. Children drew pictures of dreadnoughts defeating alien cruisers. Veterans recorded video messages for the crews. Families of New Busan victims sent personal notes thanking the fleet for carrying their loved ones' memory into battle. The final countdown began. 500,000 ships powered their engines and prepared to jump to hyperspace. In a few hours, the Hegemony Coalition would learn what happened when they murdered human children. The hyperspace jump was perfectly coordinated across 500,000 ships. At exactly the same moment, humanity's revenge fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in 15 different Hegemony star systems. The aliens' early warning networks screamed alarms as space itself seemed to fill with human dreadnoughts. Admiral Yoon-mi Ray stood on her flagship's bridge, watching tactical displays show the deployment across Hegemony space. Her first revenge fleet materialized in the Vrex Prime system, the heart of the reptilian empire that had led the New Busan massacre. 100,000 human warships surrounded the aliens' most important world. The Hegemony Coalition had prepared for a human counterattack, but nothing could have prepared them for this scale of assault. Their analysts had estimated that Earth might send 10,000 ships at most. Instead, they faced 500,000 dreadnoughts attacking simultaneously across their entire territory. Commander Sekthor watched in disbelief as human vessels filled his sensor screens. The fleet that had destroyed New Busan numbered 200 ships and had seemed unstoppable. Now he faced 500,000 enemies, each one larger and more heavily armed than anything in his fleet. All Hegemony forces, this is Supreme Commander Sekthor, the reptilian officer broadcast on emergency frequencies. We are under massive attack by human forces. All ships converge on Vrex Prime immediately. This is not a drill. The alien response was swift but inadequate. 50,000 Hegemony warships represented their entire military strength, accumulated over 800 years of conquest and expansion. Against humanity's revenge fleet, they were outnumbered 10-1. The battle for Vrex Prime began with Admiral Yoon's declaration broadcast on all frequencies. Attention Hegemony forces. You attacked and destroyed the peaceful colony of New Busan. You murdered 138,000 innocent civilians, including children. We are here for justice. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Sekthor's response was defiant. Inferior mammals, you dare challenge the might of the Hegemony Coalition? We have ruled this sector for 8 centuries. Your pathetic fleet will burn like your colony did. Admiral Yoon's reply was calm and final. You had your chance, all ships open fire. The human fleet attacked with overwhelming force. Plasma lances cut through alien armor like tissue paper. Quantum torpedoes created explosions that shattered enemy cruisers. Railgun projectiles moving at near light speed punched clean through multiple ships. The aliens' advanced shields and armor meant nothing against such concentrated firepower. Vrex Empire's orbital defense platforms fired desperately at the attacking human fleet. Their weapons had been designed to destroy conventional warships, but the human dreadnoughts absorbed the damage and kept firing. Advanced armor and shield systems allowed them to